That interview with Royce White. He joins us live from McAllen with more. David?
Gregor, right outside the hotel that the Rockets stay at when they're in the Valley, and I've talked a lot with Royce the last couple of days, and one of the interesting things is he's been here. He got here late last night around 10:15 or so. Still has not practiced with the team. That is coming on later on tonight, a closed session to the media at 8 o'clock. But, you know, what exactly changed between Royce and the Rockets? This is a big question I had, and we talked a lot about the independent doctor that he requested. Well, I wanted to find out where that ended up.
So there's going to be an independent doctor who is basically, he's got the final say on what happens on basketball courts for you. Am I understanding that?
That's what we requested. It's not actually what ended up happening. And the reason that is because it had been really hard to do that, I think. And
so you understand why they wouldn't?
Yeah, no, I totally understand their stance. I still think that it's important for the doctor to not have a conflict of interest. I think this was the first time ever in NBA history that anxiety disorder was acknowledged. You know, for them to acknowledge that, now they have to be responsible for the things that come along with that term, and so do I.
Later on at 6, we're going to find out why it took Royce 2 weeks to report to the Vipers. We'll have that later on at 6. We are live at McAllen. David Nuno, 13 Eyewitness Sports.
Rockets rookie Royce White ready to change that. Last night he sat down with us, and tonight White is ready to report to the Rockets developmental league team. David Nuno joins us live from McAllen with more. David?
Greg, I just spoke with Royce a few minutes ago. He just left for practice. They are having a closed session practice tonight at 8 o'clock. He told me he cannot wait to play some basketball. And not only has White been missing from the team for the last couple of months, he's also been gone the last 2 weeks. Remember, they had this agreement in place on January 26th. He told us exclusively why the wait.
Why February 11th? Why so long between?
The team doctors that were recommended and my doctor said that 2.5 months is a long time, not only to be away from the court, but to be going through a very tumultuous situation. A lot of hate, media-wise, some death threats, right? Some very hateful things, suicide, type of comments. So it was important for me to just, unwind all the way, kind of get away for a second and go, try and get some shots up somewhere else. And I think it had a lot to do with the fact that they were going to be on the road up until February 11th.
Later on in sports, we'll find out exactly how Royce feels he can fit with the Rockets on the court. We're live in McAllen. David Nuno, 13 Eyewitness Sports.
All right. David Nuno joins us live from McAllen with the latest. David?
You know, Allen Iverson once said, Greg, we're talking about practice, and Royce White just left about 50 minutes ago for his first practice as a member of the Vipers. And he talked a lot with me last night about his role with the Rockets and how and when that all fits in. It's finally here, Royce White playing some basketball again, not with the Rockets just yet. And when? Well, he isn't quite sure.
Obviously, they're playing well right now, and, there's not a dire need for me, right? They can obviously survive without me, but I think it's a lot dependent on what they need and how I'm doing and how the whole process goes. But I can say that I'm dying to get back to the regular team and be able to play with my teammates and throw some elbows or something like that.
Taking out the distractions, White told me he's the type of player that Rocket fans could really love.
I am a really unselfish player, and I do talk a lot of trash, and I smile and I joke a lot. But it's all circumstantial, right? Likability is circumstantial. You say one thing people don't like, and you're the worst enemy. And tomorrow you could be the good guy again.
And that's what he hopes for, a happy ending on both sides.
Yeah, it would be all right. I mean, there's certain things I won't let be forgotten. We know that, but yeah, if it was to have a good ending to the story, and when me and the Rockets were able to grow from the situation together, and not only in terms of mental health, but in terms of now me as a player and us kind of partnering up and being successful moving forward, it'd be huge.
Later on tonight at 10 o'clock, we're going to find out exactly what Royce hopes to accomplish at his first practice. He wants to get some shots in. He did tell me that earlier today and play some 5-on-5. We are live in McAllen, Texas. David Nuno, 13 Eyewitness Sports.
David, thanks for the great work with Royce White. Last time, David Nuno joins us live from far with more. David?
Greg, he did come out to practice today. They're calling it more of an extended shoot-around, not necessarily a practice. And one of the good things I heard was Royce was the first one to get here and one of the last ones to leave. And at the practice, they didn't really do a lot of 5-on-5. It was more of him getting acclimated to the offense. But he's just happy to be back at it.
After all the madness and all the bickering, Royce White is back in the most comfortable environment, the basketball court.
That's pretty much all that's going on right now. My head is getting to a ball and seeing how it feels and being able to run up and down a little bit and see guys be around me and just get back acclimated.
White's not putting too much pressure on himself. It's about testing where he is.
Oh, well, I really just want to get some run, and get to running up and down and, really get a chance to play, some actual full 5-on-5 and just see how my vision is. When I first got back to Iowa State after sitting out a year, it took me a while in real game time to get that vision back and that instinct, but it'll come back. I just need the reps.
The Rockets rookie barely knows his teammates here in the Valley, but will rely on their bond.
Yeah, I always get a kick from that. I always get a kick from just being with my teammates and trying to work together, that common goal. I really enjoy camaraderie, and that's really how I play, and I oftentimes boost that just because of the way I play. And
this is step one, working with the Vipers. But what about his teammates in Houston?
Do you think it's going to be awkward that first time you report back to Rockets headquarters?
To the team, yeah. I think it's going to be real awkward, right? We talk about mental health being talked about in hushed tones in America. In the sports world, it's even more hushed, right? So, we feel awkward just talking about mental health at the grocery store, right? I'm sure it's going to feel a little weird, but at the end of the day, teammates have a special bond and we all love each other through our goods and bads.
All right, so tomorrow the Vipers will be taking on Maine. How much or if Royce White will play is still up in the air. We're live in Far, Texas. David Nuno, 13 Eyewitness Sports.
Thanks for the great reports with Royce White, David.